How to get this high quality look in your video productions. You probably saw a lot of commercials in your life and always thought to yourself, damn, how do they get this clean, colorful, popping look? They always have this nice saturation, high key look without it being too clean. There's still a lot of contrast. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can light these kind of scenarios and what do you have to look for. So this is the first frame we are looking at, and as you can see, we have this nice saturation overall without it being too saturated. We have this bright light, high dynamic range, but also deep shadows. So how do you create a shot like this? First tactic should be where to place the camera. As a cinematographer, we always work around our practicals. This is clearly a location where they have a lot of opportunities to walk things around, put things there to make everything look more clean. But most of the time you probably just have a normal room where you have to work in, but the principles are the same. We always work around the window. The window is the primary light source where light is coming from. So our lights also have to come from this direction. Or we have something like a practical here, or on the ceiling. These are also situations and positions where the light can come from, where the audience will look at it and seem to feel that the light feels natural. So the first light you build is one outside for this wall. Now you're thinking, why do I light the wall first? Shouldn't I just place my actor and light him? No, you always set your camera. This is the framing I want. Set your exposure. Try to keep the dynamic range in the room. You also go with exposure down until you see something in the background. But this is also something special here. I don't think this is the real background. There are a lot of movies or shows where they have outside just big pictures of skyline or buildings so that they have to use a green screen, because a green screen in combination with this sheets is really difficult to key out, but we want the sheets because sheets always look good on camera because it's diffusing a little bit of the windows and gives it textures. Windows are boring. So we need something to put in front of them or in the background so that we create this nice textures. So sheets should be a no-brainer. All of these high-budget commercials have nice, colorful, not sheets, curtains. Curtains is the word I'm looking for. So after you've done that, put your camera, set your exposure. Your image becomes really dark most of the time because you want to keep the dynamic range. This is the reason you light the room first to get the exposure back. And you're not only doing this for the wall, also for the ground. But as you can see, this light that comes across the floor is hitting her, but from behind. It just gives her a nice rim light. The key from her actually comes much more from this side. And there's several ways you can do it. There's this harsh way, where you're also just using a big light outside. And a scenario like this, you need the big guns. So when you're working just LED, it should be something like an Evoke 2400 or the equivalent of an Aperture Storm. Otherwise, you wouldn't get this nice exposure and look. And to put a slide here and just put a quarter diffusion in front of it and blast it into a scene. That will give you still this really hard source, but a little bit of diffusion. And when we look at her, you can see the shadows are actually pretty hard, but it still has a nice wrap. And this hard light source don't get you this nice wrap. So what other thing you can do for her is that you put a huge butterfly, 12 by 12, 20 by 20, and blast your light through it so that you have a softer source and it wraps a little bit around them. But what also could happen is that you have this hard light from the side, and then you put also a 6x6 ultra bounce just in front of her with also a strong light. So from here should be the light, and just bounce it into the scene so we fill the whole scene and her a little bit up, that it's not just too side lit. Most of the time when it's really dark, you really build a wall of ultra bounces in front of her that floods just enough light into the scene that we have still have a little bit of contrast. You don't want to cross with the bounce around here, because then you would remove the nice shadow and contrast on her. So the next thing you do is build your neck on the other side. Just the whole wall, a big neck. Because light is bouncy, reflective. So even if you light for the floor, the light will still bounce on the ground, on the wall, and we are now back to her, and now you lose that nice contrast. But to wrap the shot up, the most important lights are actually these and these ones, because people forget to light the scenery. This is what your scenery gives contrast, some visual interest. When you just keep the scene as it is and just give her a key light, everything looks flat, because we want always think about, we want to create layers. And now we have, this is one layer, she is a layer, the ground is a layer, this side is a layer, she is a layer, the bed is a layer, and now we have also the wall as a layer. Otherwise, it would just be table, her, wall. This is boring. So try when you light next time a scene, start with the walls and then your actor. Also, what a lot of people are ignoring is colors. Look at all these colorful things in a scene. Magenta sheets, blue LED strip, blue sheets, green coffin, different kind of clothes. People always mix up saturation with colors. What I mean with that, a lot of people will just put everything here. There would be a white blanket, a black blanket, a black painting, and just mute colors and try to boost the saturation. But that's not how you get saturation. Saturation comes from colors. You have to have colors in a scene that the saturation have something to do. So just think first about that you can place colors into the scene before you think just blasting the saturation up because you want a saturated look. Here's a scene from the same commercial as a reference where you can see where the light is coming here clearly from a window. And when you try to want to simulate window light, keep the light source as big as the window. What I mean with that, just put on a 6x6, 4x4, it depends on the window, half diffusion, it could be a full sometimes, and blast the light through it, because this is the way you get this nice window light feeling. The reason we try to simulate always the light source that are always in the scene is because they don't look lit. What breaks your image most of the time is that it looks lit, and we just extend the light that's already there, your light stops looking lit. And this is the goal. But what I miss in this shot is the backlight. We could have here another light streak on the background which would give the image a little bit more pop, but this is a professional video production. They probably had a reason why they didn't done it. And also, just because something looks good all the time doesn't mean you have to use it all the time. There's always scenarios, a reason why you just wouldn't do it. And there were probably one. The story of this video is a guy and a woman texting to each other and meeting themselves up at a place. And a basic narrative cinematography trick is where this one person is always looking to the left and the other person to the right. And they've done this across the whole commercial. It just gives the audience the feeling of, oh, they're walking to each other. Simple trick, but with a huge profit in your narrative work. So if you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate a subscription. We have daily upload. My name is Marco Bagnoli and see you next time.